With a tragic mass killing in Manoa, a family of 5 dead in an apparent murder-suicide.
When murdered his 3 children, wife, and ended his own life.
A father in Manoa fatally stabbed his wife and 3 children before taking his own life. His identity as 46-year-old Paris Oda. The victims of yesterday's apparent murder-suicide are 48-year-old Naoko Oda, 17-year-old Sakurako Oda, 12-year-old Orion Oda, and 10-year-old Nana Oda.
Imagine waking up to a normal day, only to find your world shattered by an unimaginable tragedy. The Oda family massacre left a community in shock and raised haunting questions. What led to this horrific event? What drives a father to commit the unthinkable? In the peaceful neighborhood of Manoa, Honolulu, a horrifying tragedy would soon tear through the fabric of an otherwise idyllic community. The Oda family, seemingly perfect on the outside, harbored a darkness that no one could have predicted. On March 10th, 2024, this darkness would erupt into a shocking murder-suicide that left an entire family dead. Join us as we unravel the chilling story of the Oda family, a tale of financial ruin, psychological torment, and a tragic end that has left an indelible mark on Hawaii's history. The Oda family was a close-knit and vibrant unit, each member bringing their own unique spark to their lives. Paris Oda was a chiropractor by profession and the owner of Oda Ohana Chiropractic, a small practice in Honolulu. Paris was well respected in his community, known for his dedication to his patients and his involvement in local events. Naoko, originally from Japan, was a devoted mother who had put her career on hold to raise their 3 children. Whether it was standing up for loved ones or embracing her role as a stepmother with warmth and dedication, Naoko was a cherished presence in the lives of those around her. Her ability to care deeply and unconditionally made her not only a beloved stepmother, but also a revered figure within her extended family. Nana, the youngest, was a spunky and brave little girl. Her love for soccer, volleyball, and all things girly defined her youthful spirit. Orion, the middle child, was full of energy and always had a sense of humor. He loved pushing the limits, constantly sneaking snacks and candy. Every meal felt like a contest to see how much he could eat, which sometimes left him with a sore tummy. Sakurako was sarcastic, caring, and passionate. Intelligent and spirited, she had a knack for bringing a unique perspective to everything she did. Sakurako was a senior in high school, with plans to attend college. But beneath this veneer of success and happiness, the Oda family was struggling with significant financial problems. Unbeknownst to many, Paris's chiropractic practice had been in serious trouble for years. The business was heavily in debt, with outstanding loans, unpaid taxes, and a steady decline in patients. Despite his best efforts, Paris was unable to turn things around. The stress of running a failing business began to take a toll on him, both mentally and physically. Friends and family members noticed changes in Paris over the past few years. Once outgoing and cheerful, he became increasingly withdrawn and irritable. He was often preoccupied, lost in his thoughts, and seemed to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. But no one could have predicted the extent of Paris's despair or the tragic turn it would take. March 10th, 2024. It was a Sunday morning like any other in Manoa. But for the Oda family, this day would mark the end of a harrowing journey, filled with unspoken fears and mounting pressures. The exact sequence of events remains unclear, but what is known is that at some point in the early hours of March 10th, Paris retrieved a large kitchen knife and began his horrific attack. The first to be attacked was Naoko, who likely had no time to react. The autopsy revealed that she was stabbed multiple times, with several defensive wounds on her hands and arms, indicating that she tried to fight back. Her screams, undoubtedly the ones heard by the neighbors, were likely what woke the children. Sakurako, Orion, and Nana were all found in their bedrooms, each having suffered multiple stab wounds. The positions of their bodies suggested that they too tried to defend themselves. The brutality of the attack shocked even the most seasoned investigators. Paris had unleashed a fury that was terrifying in its intensity. After killing his family, Paris turned the knife on himself. But unlike his wife and children, his death was not immediate. The self-inflicted wounds were not fatal at first, and it is believed that he spent his final moments in the hallway, bleeding out from his injuries. The sight that greeted the police when they entered the house was one of unimaginable horror. At around 8:30 a.m., the Honolulu Police Department received a call from a concerned resident reporting screams coming from the Oda household, located on a serene street in Manoa. The resident described the screams as chilling and desperate, unlike anything they had ever heard before.
On Sunday, March 10th, 2024, at approximately 8:34 a.m., patrol officers were sent to 3622 Wa'aloa Place for a suspicious circumstance report of screaming in the area. Once officers arrived and searched for the 911 caller, but they could not find her. They walked up the stairs of the residence and knocked several times but received no answer. They listened for but could not hear anyone screaming or yelling. One of the officers checked with nearby residents who said that they had not heard any screaming either. The officer then requested that the caller be called back. However, the communications officer was unable to call the caller back because she had an international phone number. After checking the area around the home, the officers documented their findings and left the home shortly before 9 a.m. At 9:15 a.m., the same caller called 911 and said that she had not made contact with the police initially. The officers arrived and was able to meet with her while she was standing in front of the home. She identified herself as a tenant, and she was visibly shaken. At that time, she told the officer she was in her room when she heard screaming between 2 and 2:30 a.m. She said that she locked herself in the room and heard the screaming just outside the door. She said that she did not meet with the initial officer because she was afraid to come out of her room due to seeing blood seep under her bedroom door. Too afraid to open the door, she climbed out of her window and met with officers when she called the second time. The responding officers immediately checked the front door, which was locked.
This time, when the police re-entered the house, the scene that greeted them was nothing short of a nightmare. Blood splattered the walls and floors, telling a story of violence and desperation. In the hallway, the lifeless body of 46-year-old Paris Oda was found, a large kitchen knife still clutched in his hand. His body was covered in self-inflicted stab wounds, but these were not the only horrors that the officers would uncover. As the police moved through the house, they discovered the bodies of Paris's wife, 48-year-old Naoko Oda, and their 3 children, 17-year-old Sakurako, 12-year-old Orion, and 10-year-old Nana. The question that immediately arose was, why? What could drive a man to murder his entire family before taking his own life? As investigators began to piece together the events that led to this tragedy, a disturbing picture began to emerge. One of financial ruin, psychological breakdown, and a family in crisis. As investigators delved deeper into the Oda family's financial situation, they uncovered a mountain of debt that had been accumulating for years. The pressure was immense, and Paris felt increasingly trapped, unable to see a way out. Naoko, ever the optimist, tried to remain hopeful. She took on part-time jobs and cut back on household expenses, doing everything she could to help alleviate the financial burden. But her efforts were not enough to stave off the inevitable. The Oda family's home, once a symbol of their success, was now at risk of foreclosure. In the months leading up to the tragedy, Paris's mental health deteriorated rapidly. He began exhibiting signs of severe depression and anxiety. He lost weight, had trouble sleeping, and often talked about feeling like a failure. He believed that admitting to his struggles would be a sign of weakness, and he was determined to handle the situation on his own. Paris's pride and fear of judgment prevented him from reaching out for help, even as his thoughts grew darker. He became obsessed with the idea that his family would be better off dead than facing the shame and hardship of financial ruin. In his twisted logic, he convinced himself that he was sparing them from a life of suffering. In February 2024, he told his wife that he had not paid taxes in years, while telling relatives that he would rather die than go to prison for unpaid taxes. He also said that he wanted to kill his family and burn the house down. Paris also told his wife in a text that they needed to take their lives and that their children needed to come with them, because no one could take better care of them than he could. The investigation revealed that Paris Oda had been battling his inner demons in silence. Those who knew him began to remember the subtle signs they had missed: his growing isolation, sudden irritability, and the ever-present dark circles under his eyes. It became clear that no one had recognized just how close he was to breaking point. As news of the horrific events rippled through the community, shock swiftly gave way to deep sorrow. Friends, neighbors, and classmates came together for a candlelight vigil, each face reflecting the profound sadness of the moment as they struggled to comprehend the incomprehensible loss of Naoko, Sakurako, Orion, and Nana. The case ignited a wave of introspection far beyond the local area. Mental health professionals, community leaders, and the public were left grappling with the broader implications of the Oda family's story. It was more than just a tale of a man pushed to the brink by financial despair. It served as a stark, unsettling reminder of how societal pressures and the stigma surrounding mental health can culminate in devastating consequences. The tragedy of the Oda family resonated deeply in Hawaii. In the aftermath, many wondered how they could have missed the signs and what could be done to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. Mental health awareness campaigns began to emerge, and there was a renewed push for greater access to mental health services. But for those who knew the Oda family, these efforts came too late. The community rallied together in the aftermath, holding fundraisers to support mental health initiatives and creating scholarships in the names of Sakurako, Orion, and Nana. There was a collective effort to ensure that their memory would live on, not just as victims of a terrible crime, but as beloved members of the community who had touched the lives of those around them. As the months passed, the Oda family home remained empty, a haunting reminder of the tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. The house, once filled with the sounds of laughter and life, was now a place of silence and sorrow. The house became a symbol of loss, standing as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unseen battles people face behind closed doors. In the broader context of the community, the Oda family story became a powerful catalyst for change, drawing attention to critical issues that had long been overlooked. Their experience illuminated the profound dangers of untreated mental illness, revealing how it can deeply affect not just individuals, but entire families and communities. The story also exposed the devastating impact of financial stress, showing how it can erode a person's mental well-being, leading to a downward spiral that is difficult to escape. As the community grappled with the implications of the Oda family's struggles, there was a growing recognition that these challenges, mental illness and financial stress, needed to be addressed with greater openness and compassion. The story served as a stark reminder that ignoring or stigmatizing these issues only worsens their effects, making it clear that a more supportive and understanding approach is essential. For those closest to the family, the grief was a constant companion. The children's classmates faced their own trauma, with some requiring counseling to process the loss of their friends. The shockwaves of the tragedy extended far beyond the walls of the Oda home, affecting all who had known them. The case also left a lasting impact on the first responders and investigators who had been involved. The loss of the Oda family was a permanent scar on the community, a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of reaching out to those who may be struggling in silence. In the end, their tragedy is a story of missed opportunities. Opportunities to intervene, to offer help, to prevent a catastrophe. It's a reminder that sometimes the signs of distress are there, but they go unnoticed or unaddressed until it's too late. We'd love to hear from you, so please share your thoughts on this case. And if there's a case you'd like to see us cover in the future, let us know in the comments. If you found this video intriguing, check out our recent video on the Kayla Brown case, where we dive into another intense story of survival and justice. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.